I'm so excited to be with Dr. Constance Longmire. So, Dr. Constance, how are you today? Look,
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little disturbed about the sugar, but no, I'm just kidding.
Boy, you're starting off reading my mail. She's just like putting it out there. You,
Listen,
oh,
one day I want to talk to you about really freeing you. Different, but that's a whole nother
that
story.
would be groovy.
We will
Thank
do
you.
that. We will do that. But thank you for being here, Dr. Constance.
My
I'm
pleasure.
just really thrilled. I have heard about all that you do and all that you're involved in and the lives that you change and the impact that you make.
Praise the Lord.
And
Praise the
with
Lord.
that, I have an audience that is constantly looking to get better. And
Wow.
my big thing about that is I'm no different from them. I am no different from you. I love peach oatmeal as well, and cheese curls and key lime ice cream that you could only get in Canfield at Handles. However, there are different habits, perhaps. The only thing that separates us are the habits we have in place, right? And so,
Right.
with that, I would love to help this audience along, knowing that you are a life coach
Mhm.
and what life coaches do, just lay it on me. What's
First of all,
involved?
thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come on and talk about
Absolutely.
changing and transforming lives. Back at you, ma'am. Your clients make exercise fun. Everybody's smiling. I said, I got to sign up so I can be happy. I just commend you in what you do,
Thank
and God
you.
bless you in all and using your talents. And I have to say that he has graced me with this call. It's definitely a call in life, and when you mentioned about transforming lives, it's nobody can do that through
Yes,
humans like him.
absolutely.
So I help on the executive coaching, life coaching end, where I help people. I bring solutions to their lives. I let them. We talk about. We put it all on the table, including the peach oatmeal. And we talk about life, and we
Yeah.
talk about life goals. We talk about where you want to be in 3 months, where you want to be in a week. And a lot of times is these kind of perceptions that we have of ourselves and our abilities and the limits that we put on ourselves. And so I come along and I just talk about them, and I challenge behavior and getting people to live beyond that I can't, or getting them, I'm gonna try, but shall we tell them, let's get that out the way, from trying to doing, and you'll be so surprised what you can do when you do it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. And that's what it takes. It's like, where do you
Oh
go
my God.
from not doing, spinning your wheels to actually doing? Now, if I were to ask you to sum up who you are and how you describe yourself just in your life, what would I need to know?
Oh my God. Dr. C is a life changer. I'm a life changer. Dr. C is a
Ah,
life changer. Whoever comes in my presence, I don't care who they are, what they are, I want them to leave better than they were when they met me, saw me, interacted with me. I'm one of those people. Let me tell you this, Suzanne. I used to, and I hope I don't lose it, but I used to hate people. Sometimes the retirees, they're in the line, the Giant Eagle line, the Target line. They just talk to any
yeah.
and everybody. I'm not retired, but I turned into one of those people because I learned to slow down, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, just to ask somebody, how are you? And whether they respond or not, just slow down, just to slow down
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chit chat a little bit,
I
because
love that.
it can be such a rat race. And then with that racing, it comes with a boatload of different emotions, anxiety, worry, stress, we're frazzled.
Yes.
Just chill. So I've turned into the person that would annoy me, but so now I'm one of them, and it's so cool to talk to cashiers and people in line, and just to smile at a baby.
Yeah. What are some of those steps that we can take to cultivate a positive attitude? You know what I mean? Because in our world today, with everything going on, the stresses and the the rat race. We have become a cynical, depressed, anxious, stressed out nation, right? So, what are some of those steps, those practical steps that we can take to get on the road to a more positive attitude?
One of the things the Surgeon General, the United States Surgeon General, he said one of the effects of the pandemic, and this is, you can Google it, it's out there. He
Oh,
said was loneliness. So he said that was the main effect. It was loneliness and fear. It was the type of things as a result of the pandemic, being isolated, being within ourselves, being so much shut down those years. He said
yes,
now people are coming out and they have a challenge with loneliness, trusting. Even with some of my clients, they went from totally working from home to now hybrid. So people coming to work now, okay, they've been in pajamas forever,
yeah,
working from home. When there's a meeting, they got dressed from the top up. So
yes,
now, they
right,
went from having to take a shower at noon. You gotta take a shower before you go to work. So I'm having to come in and talk. So what positive is that mindset. It's like you have to
yes.
resolve. You have to make a resolve. I'm gonna be better than I was yesterday, better than I was this morning. But there has to come a point in your life that this is it.
What
I
does
can't
that look like if we were to take action like today? What does that look like?
it looks like I'm tired of where I am. Doing the same thing, like they said, over again and expecting change is insanity. And that's the result. We have to come to a resolve, whether that's by you, your influence, my influence, whoever we have. They have to say, okay, I get it. I get it now. So we all have that Oprah saw that aha moment. It's an awakening that you have. I believe we have them. We have them throughout our lives, but we don't follow through. I'm gonna be positive today, but okay, man, I stubbed my toe. See, I knew that positive this enough wasn't gonna work. We didn't give it a chance.
Yeah,
So I think once we have that resolve, it's literally start in the mind. You may have to change your friends. You may have to change your
there's the
associates. You may
practical
have
one,
to, hey, you may have to get off social media so much
right?
and quit scrolling. Yeah, go outside. Put the phone away. Go outside. It's a beautiful day. Go outside. Sit on your porch or just sit on the steps and interact with people. Because I think once we can, I gotta change, but you nothing change until you do. I could expect all the change I want from you, Suzanne, but it's really up to me.
Yes, it is.
If someone chooses not to change, okay, then I have to. And I heard Dr. Carolyn Schuall, she said this. She said, I'm not saying you're not good. You're not good for me.
I love
So I
that.
think to answer your question, it's the resolve. It's the, okay, this is it. I'm tired of this.
What
I've,
What are those self-limiting beliefs that you come across more than not? Mm.
what will they say? How will they treat me? I want to meet this they and tell them, get out of people's mind. You need to go mind your own business. But it's
Do
always,
you
what
think
will
it's because we put ourselves on display?
I don't know if we put ourselves on display or do we? I think we hold ourselves to a higher regard to other people. We try to people please. So I think we become puppets to those, so we will please them. So we, in our minds, we will say, okay, they won't talk about me. They won't say this about me because I took them to lunch, because I'm talking to them, because I paid their bill, because I did this. They will like me.
Mm.
No, it's a challenge when you need to be liked. Wanting to be liked is good, but when you need to be liked,
Yes,
yeah.
totally different thing. Where do you think that root comes from? Where's that coming from?
Oh my
Where
God, that
we're like, I hope they like me. We all want to be liked in some way, shape, or form. But
yeah.
when it becomes debilitating, what?
I think it goes back to childhood. I have a little great niece, and she's 3, 4, and she's, you're my best friend. We're just best friends.
Best fian.
But and to me, we do have that you're my best friend, and I'm like, you're my best friend. So we're best friends. So automatically, it's that likable. So it starts from a toddler, from a child. wanting to be liked, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be included.
Right.
And so the
Which
minute
there's
we're
nothing
not,
wrong with that until.
until
Mhm.
it paralyzes us, it stops us, oh, and we start to people please. Because it's until we get, I'll go keep going back to that resolve. I like me. I have to like me, whether I'm 20 pounds heavier or 20 pounds lighter. If I don't like me, I'm taking that same extra 20 pounds of my mind into whatever size I am. And I'm taking that same mental weight to whatever career I go to or to whatever goal I want to achieve. It's that same mental. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Funny
Freedom.
enough, I want to pose you this question. Lexi, it was, it's been going around. It's a viral video where she says, I want the mind of Christ, but the body of a stripper. I
I love her.
And so somebody said to me, she's being honest, and yes, to
Mhm.
an extent, that's very transparent and that's very open.
Mhm.
And then, but then the person said to me, "Oh, we all feel that way. Some of us just won't admit it." Okay, when you said what you said about loving
Mhm.
yourself where you are, whatever body you're in, whatever
Ah,
poundage you are, I know that there are a lot of people who cannot understand that. However,
God.
when we choose to look just a little bit closer, I'm thinking to myself, do I want that body and do I want the mindset that comes with it? The body dysmorphia that we face in this world today is just, it's gone left. It's unbelievable. And so when I think of Miss America,
Mhm.
she had everything, so it seemed,
So it seemed.
right? But what comes with the mindset? And where do you imagine, putting you in the spot now, that
Uh-huh.
Lexi may be coming from? We don't
Mhm.
know. However,
Uh-huh.
typically, what situation would we be coming from to make that kind of request? I'm not even sure what I'm asking. What do you think about the statement?
Lexi, first of all, I think Lexi's hilarious.
You
I
really
think she's funny. I think what she says is, I think I gotta take with this, okay, humor, but she does say things that a lot of people think.
This is true. This is true.
She does. And so there are some people out there that look,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, bada bing, bada
Bada
bong, but
bang.
it's the mindset. So I can be holy whether whatever size I am.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
can worship God whatever size. If being that size is gonna turn my mind into something that God will be not be pleased with, keep it from me, God.
Yeah. No, see, now
Seriously. I mean,
personal, I don't want you to say that because
yeah.
my personal belief is that he uses all of it. And I do believe that he uses all of it. But if you ask Art in the middle of the night, my husband, what is it that women want, honey? Because I had to teach him. Women always want to feel desired
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's true.
desirable.
That's true. That is
How-
so true.
Yes. And so is it that, or is it who you are here that makes the decision to be desirable?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To be that
Right.
person who feels desirable, who makes decision to be
Mhm.
desirable. Somebody said to me yesterday, I said, I can't remember what the statement was, and she said, I just don't believe you. I don't know if you're being serious or if you're being sarcastic, because I do have that tendency sometimes. And I said, I want you to make the decision that I am being serious. See my point?
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, exactly. Because it really doesn't matter what I'm
Mhm.
doing. It's the
Uh-huh.
ground, the acceptance. It's what kind of ground is this? You know what I'm saying? The sower sowed the
Mhm.
seed. So what is this?
Mhm.
So what's your take on that?
I like what you said about the desire. And yes, we want to be desired. Women desire to be desired. And I think that's perfect. But for those who do not have a significant other, those who don't have a partner, those who don't have a husband,
Got
you
it.
know,
Got
it's
it.
like I have to desire myself. I have to desire that I want to be the best me that I can be.
Yes.
Be that no eating no more peach oatmeal. But it's one of what we do. I have to desire. How do you desire? I have to desire Constance. What is it that will make you feel good and healthy? God, help me. And there's so many different ways when we say, God, Lord, help me. We have what you do. It's not only physical, but it's mental. You help us come to grips with these hard questions of facing ourselves in the mirror. So many people run past the mirror, don't want to look at themselves. I've come across women who will not turn around and look at their backside. I don't want to see the looks behind me. I can hardly face myself up front. I'm not going to turn around because of their desire of themselves is not there. Exactly. I was clutching the pearls myself. I said, "Who lied to you? Who lied to you? What lie are you believing about yourself?" Because I have friends of various sizes. I have a friend where some makes is very weighty. Can get a dude like that.
Sweetie, trust me.
Come on.
I understand what you're saying because I
It's
know people like that and just has that confidence, just exude
it's the
walk through a room.
confidence, Suzanne. It's that desire. It's that because you it ooze. Because with that desire and confidence, I'm teaching you how to treat me, how to respect me, how to step to me. Come on, because you ain't wasting my time. No.
Wow. I often talk about Esther. We talk
Mhm.
about the Esther experience. And Esther spent some time making herself desirable. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
So when we talk about being desirable or feeling desirable, I think that there are times, even in, especially as women of
Hmm.
faith,
Uh-huh.
right? There are times when we murky the waters as far as desire and just like we were saying, I don't want that to turn me away from who God wants me to be, right? The only way that will turn us away from who God wants us to be is when we got it twisted that it was about us. Glory. Okay?
Hello, somebody.
Exactly, because when Esther got it twisted that it was about her, Mordecai had to tell her a thing or two. When he told her what he told her and understood leadership, being a John Maxwell student, is nothing more or nothing less than influence. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So, with all of what she had, she was wonderful to look at. She had the favor of the king. We then transferred to us because I'm all that and a bag of chips. Mhm. Now, when Mordecai made it clear to her what this was about, you don't understand that all of your good looks got you up in here for a purpose. Then she was able to separate and say, if I perish, but all of this goodness, all of this, bada boom, bada bang, is for God.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
yes.
and speaking of preparedness, even before Esther, there was Vashti. If Vashti hadn't have said no, Esther would not have been on the scene. So Vashti knew her purpose. Vashti was prepared. She was in the position. But when it came to flaunt it, she
Mm,
had to make a decision.
yes. Ooh,
And her decision
come on now, you're opening up
was no.
cans of worms. I love it.
So someone's no could cause someone's yes.
Give me some tips for building and maintaining good habits about who we are and the decisions we make to move forward or improve our lives. What are some of those tips for building these habits? For instance, when you said earlier, you said you have to love who you are. How do we begin to
Mhm.
acquire those habits? It's an epidemic.
It is an epidemic.
It's an epidemic. There are a lot of us that don't love who we are. We don't love what we see. We don't love just the little things about ourselves. We don't love how we show up in the world, etc. What are those habits that we can start to put in place to improve?
It's going to take some time, meaning you need a plan. The Bible tells us to write the vision, make it plain. So I would get a piece of paper and write out, this is how I want. This is what I want this. A lot of people have a challenge expressing, articulating what they want. I'm sorry, the man at the pool of Bethesda. Jesus said, you want to be whole? He said, I got nobody I don't have nobody to help me. It was hard for him to even fathom. I've been like this 38 years. You mean no one really talked to me? So there's a whole unpacking of that whole story
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
remarkable.
yeah.
But we have to see it. And the way we see it, we can write it. When
Mm,
we write it, then we verbalize it, affirmations. I
write it
am.
down. Write it down. Write the what?
The
The
vision,
vision.
make it, and
Oh,
then we
come on. Yes.
read it, because they that read it will run. So we're got to turn into a runner. After the writing, we got to run. They that read it will run. Okay,
Mm,
Lord, I'm running with this. You said I want to be, or I desire to. Then we say, I am an exercise coach. I am a president of the company. I am an entrepreneur. I am a millionaire. I
mm,
am. And so once we articulate it, then we get someone to help hold us accountable. Because if I'm an exercise coach, I need someone to tell me, look, I know this is what you want to do, but you're not going to get there eating the peach oatmeal. So that
or
accountability,
peach
but you're
oatmeal.
right.
We're picking
So,
on the peach
but
oatmeal.
we're going to wear that oatmeal out, aren't
We're
we?
gonna wear it out. So
But
let me
it's
ask you
important.
this. Let me ask you
Uh-huh.
this about what
Yes,
you
yes.
want, right? So
Uh-huh.
if you woke up tomorrow
Yes.
and life is exactly the way you wanted it to be, give me a vision of what that looks like.
I am I am preaching the gospel. I am
But you're doing that now. I want you to
yeah,
dream big, right?
big.
I
Oh
want
my
you
God.
to not be afraid to ask.
But more of that, more of serving God, serving his people in different ways that he will have me to. Is that if it's teaching,
Yeah,
is it going to be different organizations, being part of the John Maxwell team? That
it's
would
amazing.
be, and being on that stage, having a syndicated show. I want to show that syndicated. I have my own show, but I want to show that syndicated. I would love that. I want to be in the Tamron Hall show. I want to create. I want to send the message of hope, the message that you don't have to stay the way you are, the message of change, the message of it's okay to be okay, and we don't care who don't like it. Just make a decision to change. And later on, in different eyes, just share my story of change, just how God changed my mind, my confidence, just being around the right people and letting people know you're going to have to cut some folk off, literally.
Mhm. I hear
And
people
it's
say,
okay.
go ahead.
I'm saying it's okay.
Yes, yes. I was going to say, I hear people say, I don't know what my purpose is. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know how to get to that. But you said something really important, and this is something I say to different ones all the time is dream and make a decision. Do you
That's
know what
it.
I mean? But what do you say to the person who is afraid to dream? Because remember, we want that best selling 52 Mondays. Wink,
Oh,
wink,
Father God, did you hear my sister
wink,
call me
wink.
out?
Called you out.
I love her.
Mwah. Yes, you are. And whenever, what I usually tell my clients is when you're telling me what you want, that's why I said, what does that look like in the present now? I am a New York Times best-selling author of the book 52 Mondays, already written. Am.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not
Huh?
many times
Look,
I'm speechless.
as my brother says, huh? Can't get no help.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. That was just beautiful. I'm going to adopt that and say that.
Yes, and we will support one another and keep
Absolutely.
pushing one
Oh
another.
my gosh.
How do you,
Absolutely.
I was going to say, how do you manage stress? And what's your advice to those of us who are stressed? Now, to give a picture of stress, I have
Mhm.
been in situations where I cannot give thought to another thing, where the stress, the load is so much
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
it paralyzes me to where there is an overwhelming sense of doom and panic and anxiety. What is your recommendation?
And that does happen. We will be at our point of saturation where we
Point
can't
of
get our
saturation.
literally we're at capacity. We don't have the bandwidth. So we have to learn again, shut down. I gotta walk away. I gotta let it go. When you get that breaking point, you're on the edge, shut it down before something comes out your mouth, before you become very snippy, before behavior is escalated. Because when you're really extremely tired, and if you don't get your rest, you're gonna come off as angry, and
Angry
people are gonna
black woman.
misinterpret. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I say angry black woman.
Yes, yes. And you just need a nap.
That's it.
Just need a nap. Just need a nap. And so I think if we could just tell the person, I can't handle it now. There were times growing up, I get that practice from my mother. There was times she wouldn't discipline us. She said, what you did was very bad right now. She would tell us that. And she said, so I can't punish you right now because I'm too angry. But we'll talk about that. She would say that. So she would verbalize, and her term was, but I will pay you for the old and the new. My
You're
parents
like,
were from the
oh
South.
Jesus.
I'm like, I'd rather you get me now. What you got? And she was my parents from the South. So they always talked in metaphors and similes and all this kind of stuff. It was always always some type of country metaphor that we had to figure out. What are you saying to us? So it's one of those things when we're angry or tired, angry, and all that, walk away with the stress of it.
Yes.
We have to walk away. And what do we do? What should we do? I strongly suggest that we go to a quiet place. Pray. I subscribe to praying, journaling, and putting down music. Putting down some music. I have on my phone. I have my gospel. It's 3 hours of uh, old hymns. So old hymns, great is thy
Take
faithfulness.
your in.
So and it's 3 hours of uninterrupted. I don't have a commercial.
Can you send me the link?
I certainly will do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
So
just
3 hours of uninterrupted. And then what do? And then you pray,
after
right?
that, I'm refreshed again. I can go, but I will go with the mindset is I'm going to pace myself.
Yes.
So if we start that conversation again, I won't. I will say I will hit 3 points of it and that's it. Or if I have to take that task again, I will manage it. I will only give it 30 minutes. I'm not going to give it an hour. And some things I can't go back to because that's what caused my stress in the first place.
I'm done.
And it's
As
okay to be done.
yes, it is. It Forgiveness is a big part of that too. And it all depends on what the stress is because
Mhm.
sometimes
Yes.
we cause our own stresses
Mm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
sometimes it's as simple as saying no, as you said. I, no more. Not right now.
Right
I
now.
need to walk away or forgiveness, etc.
Yes,
I'm sure that what you do as a life coach is super
it
rewarding
is.
to affect change in someone's life and to watch them take flight has to be one of the best gifts. It's a privilege, it's an honor. What advice
Mhm.
would you have for someone who wanted to be or become a life coach?
Oh,
And what are
I
the misconceptions that we have about that?
Oh my God. Number one, that one of the misconceptions is that we're not a therapist unless you are, you're credentialed and licensed.
Yes,
I'm not. So
yes.
I'm certified with John Maxwell, plus there's another organization that I'm certified with. I'm also certified with John Maxwell as far as the personalities assessments, the DISC assessment with John Maxwell. So I have all that. And so when I create and I do certified life coach, so they come with all of that information plus my experience that I include in the curriculum and my life experience that I share in how to coach people. My background is I was vice president of customer service. I worked manager of HR. I worked
Wow.
in
All the people
daycare,
stuff.
a lot of people stuff, teaching in the college level for years. So then I come on, plus I'm being a mom and a wife. So I have all this experience with that, plus the education, the educational background. And the reason I did go to seminary is because this is an interesting story. I felt led to go back. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back. And this was the cheapest out of all the institutions. And so what I thought it was the cheapest, I'm gonna get it done. It was the most rewarding because I understand the spirit of a person. It taught me so much compassion on humanity that I didn't have. I look at people totally different because it taught me
Yeah.
who you are today may not be who you are tomorrow. It could be a phase, it's an event. Things happen. The bad day had nothing to do with me. I just so happened to be at that space of you. And so it taught me a lot about being kind, being patient with people. So that's why I love it. I really love that. What I thought again it was the cheapest of the other tuitions of the other schools that I had.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I thought I'm going for one reason. The Lord had a totally different because I was almost horrible. Holiness or hell. It's like, whoa, these are my people. These are mine.
Yes.
Patience.
Yes. Yeah.
Patience. They don't belong to you. So whether I'm in the pulpit, in the boardroom, coaching one on one, group coaching, I'm cognizant of the fact that they belong to God. And how can I help them? So when they get certified through Peak Institute Coaching Academy, they're getting all that information, all the curriculum, everything that they need to start their business, I give it to them. Only thing will stop them is them or if God tell them not yet. And how do you know if you want to be a life coach or not? If people are always asking for advice, if people are
I was going to ask you that. Yes. Uh-huh.
if they say you get things like you're a really good listener, you're a really good listener, you're a really good listener, or you have good advice or this and that, think about being a life coach. And I'll go this: if you're a pastor, if you're part of the fivefold, they make some of the best life coaches because they're already tuned in and ideas will just flow and particularly some of those like the prophet, you're like, oh my God, I see. I would tell them if they're part of the fivefold, just manage that gift of the prophet, of the apostle, because what is so futuristic and getting them to see that. Because I have been in sessions, Suzanne, for how, oh my God, yeah. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said that because I scared them.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm like, my bad. I'm sorry. That's what I saw. And I probably should have got you there. Should have took baby steps to get you there.
Hard to do though.
Hard to do. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I see it like, oh my God, you're going to be so great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's okay.
They're
Don't
like,
want to scare you.
okay.
You know what the Oracle say? Did I do that?
Right. Is just absolutely wonderful. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would that be? This is
Oh
your
my
last
God.
question.
Oh, is this my last? This has been
Mhm.
fantastic. Oh my God. What will that be? And there's so many cliches like trust the process. Da, 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 da. I would tell my younger self, go further in your education. It's not what you're experiencing is not what it looks like.
What
Don't.
do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You're talking about school, you're talking about just
Mhm.
being hungry for knowledge. What does that look like? What
It's
further?
school.
Okay.
Like school, continue on. I started off at the University of Akron. She says, okay, would have loved to have completed, get out my PhD from there as opposed to taking breaks. And because life was lifing then, it was like, oh my God, with my friends graduating, starting, doing their life and doing things like that. But I think I would have just not so much focused on my friends, would have focused more on me and the path that God had for me at that time. But being young and just trying everything and just wanting to do it all in a matter of years. So I think I would tell my younger self to, and I hate to sound cliche, is trust the process and try not to rush it.
Well, as we grow, we realize how profound that is.
Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. It is. It really is. When I say literally, I have learned just to slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, literally. What's the song? Slow down. You move too fast. Yeah. So it's one of those things. You just, hey, feeling groovy. You just chill. Because I think with God, He will direct us, He will guide us, He will make sure we're good because we haven't expected it. I'm gonna get there. I'm
Wow.
gonna get there.
Absolutely. It's hard to convince you when you're young and you're eager, but it's something that we need to relay. And I don't know that we do that enough. But where can the people find Dr.
I'm
Constance
not hard to find.
J.
If you, I'm
Longmire?
literally, I am on. If you just Google Constance Longmire, I'll pop up.
Okay,
But my
great.
site is peakinstitute.com, pekinstitute.com. Peak is my maiden name. My parents, my dad had an asphalt company. And so a construction company. So I named my business Continue On the Peak name. It was called Peak Asphalt.
Okay.
So mine is peakinstitute.com, P-E-K, institute.com. I'd love to hear from people. There's a way on my website that you can contact me. Would absolutely love to hear from your audience. And just to say how they liked our interview today, because I
Yeah.
certainly had fun. I had a ball.
I am so glad. Oh my gosh. Listen, we needed that advice. We needed to hear that advice. Sometimes you just
Thank you.
need to hear it one more time. The
One more
word says
time.
faith comes by hearing and
Yes.
hearing by the
Yeah.
word. Whether it's and quite honestly, whether it's the word of God or the word of something else that you keep feeding yourself, what you feed grows and what you starve dies. And I so appreciate you being here, just taking time out to be here.
Uh-huh.
Just means so
Oh, thank
much.
you.
Means
Thank you.
so
Just
much.
excuse the background. I hopped into one of those little
Got
booths.
life going on. Lifey.
It is going on. Life is life. When it's when you finish a coaching session, I run into a booth and it's okay. I can do it now. So excuse the background noise, but thank you. I like what you said. What you feed will grow. I love that. That's a T-shirt, man.
We don't realize what we're feeding ourselves. There are times when I'm talking to my daughter and she's going through different things. And I said, so when you're going through these things, what are you feeding yourself? How are we counteracting that? It's
That's
really important.
good.
Yeah, it's
That's
really important.
good.
Thank
That
you
is so
once
good.
again for being
We got to
here.
do a session together. We do got to
Oh,
do a session together. You do the exercise, I do the
I
mind. We'll invite people into our world. So we'll have,
will
I don't
do
know
it
what you
now.
call it.
Listen, I was waiting for you to do me a session. Suzanne, sit on my couch.
Girl, we're about to free about 20
But
women. We're going to have a whole
I would love
room.
that. I
Oh,
would
great.
love that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so let's do it. Love you.
yeah, yeah. We'll make it happen.
Thank you
Love
for
you too.
being
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
my
Thank you.
pleasure.